With us now is Ralph Schlosstein. He was Chairman Emeritus of Evercore, Senior Advisor to global private equity firm Warburg Pincus. Hasn't been on the show in a while, but used to be on all the time. I don't know.
Nice to see you.
You're an international dude. It's hard to...
mystery is what he is.
Yeah.
I think, because I'm center of the road, Joe, it's objectionable to you.
Oh.
I like that.
And the gloves come off.
Let the games begin.
Boxing's just starting.
In the universe, if you're an object at rest, you don't know whether you're at rest or... See, I think I'm in the center and you're over here. So who's right?
You're pointing to your right.
I was going to say he's right.
You're pointing to your right, and I'm definitely not right.
Do you want to get right into telling me how Vice President Harris is actually business friendly, or do you want to just talk about the overall environment we're in right now?
I do think she is going to be business friendly.
You do?
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
that would be a big shift.
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you think that? She has to.
She has to. Look, she's running to be president of all the people, and obviously our economy is driven by the private sector, by consumer, and she's a smart woman. And so she'll listen carefully to those who advise her on how to keep the economy growing.
See, I would even say that the past couple of years, businesses have been there's been a target on their back in the Biden administration. Greedflation, and we want to build the middle class from the inside out, and it's been anti-business rhetoric. I get tired of it, Ralph, and I wonder, do you just understand what it is? It's populist rhetoric that everyone engages in?
Well, I was at a meeting last week of about 20 people in the markets at lunch. And someone said to me that, Trump really wasn't that bad if he was a silent movie.
No, I was talking about, I actually didn't bring up Trump.
I understand.
Okay.
So I think both of these candidates are, if you look at how the markets have done, if you look how the economy has done, he's got a pretty damn good record.
But do you think she's going to be actively out there? We've been talking about regulation. We've been talking about the FTC, the Department of Justice, when it comes to antitrust. We talked about how apparently she's now trying to court the crypto community after Trump shows up at a crypto Bitcoin conference. I mean, do you think there's actually a real move afoot to move even more to the center?
I personally believe that the regulatory policies of the Biden administration were a little bit too aggressive and somewhat detached from the law.
Okay.
Which is
that she agrees with you?
I don't know the answer to that. I haven't asked her.
Ralph, what about taxing unrealized gains? What about a long-term gains, capital gains rate of 46%?
Well, you happen to have one of the very, very few people in finance who believes that there shouldn't be a differential between ordinary income.
You do believe it? Okay.
I do, yeah, because I have yet to meet a person who wouldn't invest
if it wasn't
because of the taxes.
There's arguments on both.
Now, I'd like to ask you a question, though, Joe.
Why? Do
you think that
no one cares what I think?
You're privileged because you have children, so you'll have a lower tax rate than others who don't have as many children. Do you think that's right?
You mean even at my kids are 22 and 24?
Doesn't matter. You've been procreating.
I have to think about...
You mean just tax incentives built in? I mean, you could say that for a lot of things. As a homeowner, you have other things too.
Yeah.
Should it be a clean tax system where you
We have a birth rate problem, Ralph. We really do around the world.
We do.
For some reason.
Are you trying to reference the J.D. Vance?
I think that's where it's...
I think I read something like that.
I know. I was just trying to make sure that for those who are slow like myself, that everybody's keeping up with what
I understand. I was trying to too.
No, that was a J.D. Vance reference.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Sort of on the sly.
I've seen it explained in a certain way where it didn't sound that ridiculous to me.
Yeah, I was thinking it might cause you and your wife to start having kids again.
If I could, honestly, if we could, maybe we'll adopt. But I wish I had 10. I got married too late. I wish I had 10 kids. I do.
Yeah.
It's been the best thing about being alive.
I have 2 kids, and I said to my wife, I'm more than willing to have a third, and she said, that's it.
It's been done. Tony Randall, dude. I mean, if you want to...
Look at our Secretary of State. He's got a 5-year-old to 4-year-old.
Pacino. I mean, some of the coolest people, Ralph, and you're one of them.
Yeah, but some of them, Tony did it with his first spouse. Al did not.
Oh, all right. Let me think of some other ones. Kerkorian. Why are they all my idols?
Right,
I don't know. Why do I know? Go ahead, Andrew.
No, I was just,
get us out of here.
I was going to talk markets, and just ask you where you think things really are. We've been talking about what the Fed may or may not do, or may signal. And by the way, talk about politics. Depending on if you believe that the Fed does cut in September, is all of a sudden you're going to have, former President Trump screaming that this is an effort to rig the election. Do you think that they should actually lower rates in September? Do you think they should wait till after the election?
I think it's a given that if they do that, he will scream bloody murder. I think that's a given. I think that I don't know whether they should cut in September. I feel very strongly they certainly should not and will not cut in July. And the reason is, even though the risks have become more balanced, if they cut in July, it would signal that they're super concerned about growth and employment. And, I think they've tried to maintain a firm handle on the tiller, and they've done a good job of that.
Ralph, we were just talking to Barry Sternlicht, who said, look, if you look at what's happened with McDonald's, with Walmart, with lots of areas, he said in budget hotels in his world, that there does look like there's a real slowdown in consumer spending. Do you see that too?
Definitely at the middle and lower end of the income spectrum, very much so. You had a burst of spending tied to the COVID relief efforts, and there was actually a built-up little extra savings that has been spent down. People talk about the fact that the COVID dividend hasn't been completely spent. All that exists still is in the upper income.